exactly the same.
Right, right. And how about the fact that Samsung done partner with Microsoft so much that they pretty much giving you Microsoft Word when you buy a Samsung device?
Man, when I'm telling you, I love that. And I wasn't a Samsung person because, like you said, before One UI, what it had, what was the one before One UI? It was
TouchWiz.
TouchWiz. TouchWiz was so trash.
Yeah.
I stayed away from Android because I was like, okay, but this is before the whole stock Android kick. So I was like, man, leave it. I'm whatever with Android. I'm gonna stick with my Apple community and deal with iOS because iOS is functional. It worked perfectly fine. There was no lag until you had lag gate coming from Apple when they're slowing down their old devices. But yeah, now with One UI and they partner with Microsoft. So if you don't know, Samsung really does have a partnership with One UI. What they're doing is the same thing we look for out of Apple and iMessage and iOS and how it's all intertwined and linked together. So you can continue working from your phone straight to your desktop, to your tablet. You now can do that with Samsung devices. So if you have a desktop PC or if you have a Samsung, but with still the Windows, you can look at your phone, see messages from your phone, even take phone calls from your desktop, as long as it's Bluetooth capable. If you got a gaming desktop PC like me, you got to get Bluetooth connected to it. But as long as it's Bluetooth capable, you can do everything like you can from a MacBook on your Windows PC from your Samsung device. Now, I was talking with somebody on Reddit about that. And they said, oh, you can do it with other Android devices, but you got to download this application. No, bump that. I'm talking about something that's cooked straight into Microsoft Office to allow you to use that device. You're going to have to download no third-party application. It automatically allows you to sync up with it. And so I use that with my Samsung, my S21 Ultra, to where like if I'm taking a photo, same, you got iCloud, they partner with OneDrive. So like if OneDrive is on my PC, if I take a picture from there, like if I'm doing stuff out at events and stuff, it's automatically on OneDrive. So when I want to work on it, I got to do is open up on my PC. I love it. And like you and I was talking about it, a lot of people really aren't hyping it up. And I'm like, that's really a good thing.
And because most of the guys that are reviewing these devices, they really don't know the full capacity of what you can do within the software. All they know is the surface. What do they review? They review the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And then let me touch that. They don't even review the cameras to the point that most of these cameras, you don't even use them correctly until you go beyond the point and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not touching their capabilities until you go into what they call pro mode.
Right.
And people are always saying, well, how close can this get to a digital camera? Well, what people don't realize is when you have a digital camera, when you go buy a Sony or a Canon,
mm-hmm.
you're not using auto. The whole point of buying those devices is so you can go into manual mode and control things.
Right.
Same thing with the phones, right? So when I get a lot of these guys that do reviews, they say, well, the average user is not going to go into pro mode. Well, so then if you're going to do that, review it as an average user, and the average user wouldn't care about half of what you're talking about.
Right. Right. But see, people didn't get the big thing about everybody pushing for Apple to have raw image files. Not even my family was like, what's the importance of a raw image file? I said, well, that's what you get when you take it from a DSLR camera or a high-end camera. You get a raw image because you need that raw image. So when you go into Photoshop or any photo editing app, it allows you to do that. It's not locked down. Yes, your images are locked down if you're not using raw images. It's hard for you to change stuff around in them. But when you get raw image, you can tweak them up. And like you said, with pro mode, they don't teach that.
Right.
Because they only do like a surface level stuff, or how does it look with portrait? Can I adjust it with the software to allow me to change up some of the portrait aspect of it and the aperture and stuff? But they don't go into ISOs and none of those other things that you use with the DSLR camera. They actually are now built into these phones.
Exactly. And the thing about it is, and that's why I tell people all the time, is like, okay, you guys are trying to grade these phones on the level of a DSLR. So don't grade it on the level of DSLR, telling people that would never buy a DSLR that is no good, right?
Right.
When you're not using the features that you would use on a DSLR.
Right.
I don't know one person with a DSLR, right, that would just take the picture straight out the camera.
Yeah.
The whole point of getting a DSLR is so that you can edit those pictures for whatever it is you're using it for.
Yeah, that's what I do with mine. That's just what I'm using right now to stream with. Well, to do this live with. So yeah, you don't buy it just to point and shoot. That's why you got a smartphone. That's why if I'm going somewhere to do a point and shoot, I bring the smartphone. I don't pack up all my camera equipment. If I'm going somewhere to do like some really good cinematographic photography and stuff, then yeah, I bring my DSLR camera and I bring my stand and stuff and I mount it up and then I take some pictures.
Yeah. And so, and then it gets into the discussion where I have with these guys and I go, well, I can always tell a DSLR from a smartphone. No, you can't.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
And the ones that argue me down the most have been seeing some of my photos and complimenting them, and they were from a cell phone. You know, so it's one of those things. Now, if you're pixel peeping, you could, right?
Yeah.
But how often do you pixel peep?
Right, and then how far can you zoom in too when you're doing it on social media?
Exactly.
Because even in social media, it still compresses the file. So you still not getting the true image of what the person has taken from the smartphone or the DSLR camera.
And the better the file, like the more information in the file, the worse it compresses it.
Mm-hmm.
So
and the device, because that was the issue they have with Instagram.
Yeah.
So Instagram, if you take a picture from a iPhone, it compresses a whole lot better. The image is smaller, but you get more high resolution on an iPhone picture than you do an Android picture. And everybody's like, why the hell is that? And it was like, well, because of all the different Android skins and operating system they put out there. But iPhone is just an iPhone.
But
so it's like,
not only that either. It's not, and that's the thing. That's why these guys drive me crazy. The iPhone had less information because these Android phones was doing everything, right? So
right.
the files were super large. Guess what happens in compression? The larger the file, the more information you lose because you're compressing it.
Yep.
It came out when Marquez Brownlee did that. What did he do? He did that. I don't know if you saw that. Marquez Brownlee did the whole smartphone war.
Oh yeah, he does it every year. Yeah, what they do with the cameras.
Always the worst camera that wins.
Right. Yeah. People don't even think about that, right? Because it was, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, man, because he had so MKBHD, he does this camera war, the smartphone war every year with the cameras and stuff. And he don't go from the cheapest camera all the way up to cheapest smartphone all the way up to the most expensive smartphone. And he just takes pictures, just takes random pictures and he just posts them all together. He don't tell you which one is he taking a picture from. And he let the community decide on which ones they like. And he does it on Instagram and he does it on Twitter and he compiles it together. And that's how he decides on the winner. I forgot who was it that won 2020, but it was a cheap smartphone. Like I think it cost about $500 compared, and it beat out some of these $1,200 smartphones.
And some a lot of the $1,200 smartphones were out in the first and second round.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people don't understand. It's like I hold a lot of responsibility to influencers. They just, it's like you guys got to stop doing this. Let's stop doing this and actually educate people.
Right. And I do like what's his name? I can't even think of the guy. Rene Ritchie. So Rene Ritchie, he actually nerds out. I think he worked in IT before he actually quit and started doing full-time YouTube. But he actually breaks down technology in a way for people to understand. Matter of fact, he has his own, he's working with some other actual channel they put on their own TV to do demos and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I like the people that break down and stuff, actually break it down and explain to you what it can do, show you examples of it, and go into the intricate details of it. Don't do the 90-day review because you got 90 days to return the item back to where you bought it from. So I'm gonna review this thing because I know I'm getting ready to return it. And this is what I think of it. It's like what Jay said, you catch a release. I'm gonna release it and you're releasing it because you got to return it so you can get your money back.
Exactly.
Not you want to do a 5 and 6 month review, which I like the people that do like the reviews like 6 months later. I'm using this advice. This is how we're still functioning.
Yeah, or last year's version against the new one,
Right.
I tell you another person in the vein of Jay Will is Juan Bagnell.
Mm-hmm.
He goes really, really deep also, And then he points at the stuff that really matters. Him and Jay, they point at the stuff that really matters to the normal person, you know.
Right. Because people, especially the whole Android iOS war, and I'm like, are we really fighting this out? I'm like, like you just said, what do you use a smartphone for? What do you use a smartphone for?
Right.
If your whole argument is customizations, then okay, yeah, you like Android. It's not iOS is worse than Android. No, you just like customization. So yeah, you pick Android. But at the end of the day, you texting people, you making phone calls, you looking at social media, and you checking emails. They both do the same doggone thing.
Right. Now, see, my whole thing against Apple was I'm an original Apple fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved Apple and everything, and for me, I think Apple took a turn when Jobs died. I think it took a turn into more of a money grab than pure hardware. You know what
Right.
I mean? I think they had more focus on the hardware and the ecosystem that they were building as quality hardware and a true ecosystem. Then now, to me, it's more of a perception, or it's more of a system. How do we make money?
Right.
Which is different. There's a difference. Steve Jobs was more of a pure hardware person, and Tim Cook is more of let's make the margins person.
Yeah, I want to help out the board because that's why I tell a lot of people to, read up on companies. That's why I love Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Woz was the beast, and Woz was the same way too. I want to make great product, but I want to make it cheap for the average individual. I don't want to be charging them thousands and thousands of dollars. I actually want to make great technology for people to use and understand. And that's how Steve was at first too, until he got fired. And then Apple started going downhill and started losing shares and stuff. And they brought him back, and he brought the company back up. Now, was he, a hard ass on his employees about it? Yeah, he was. But he still was about perfection. He wanted to give you the best thing out of what you're paying for. He didn't want to do the same rinse, recycle, and repeat all over again. He always wanted to be an innovator. And yeah, like you said, once he was gone, they really stopped being innovative.
Yeah. And that's a lot of people get upset with me when I say that, and that's the whole reason why I wasn't like, I love Mac computers, right? But wouldn't buy an iPhone. I got my first iPhone last year, So, and do I love the iPhone? No, not for what it is. I don't. For the simple fact that it's a great piece of hardware, but for what it is, no. Because I'm used to Android. I'm used to customizing my phone, and I really don't like someone else telling me the proper way to use something, Like my Android device, you and I can have the same exact device, but I would use mine entirely different than you because I customize it because of that,
Right.
So that was my attraction to Android, But now my attraction to iOS is the fact that, iMessage it's that blue bubble game it's a real thing.
Yeah. Shout out Blue Bubble Game.
Yeah. Look, as a business person, that blue bubble that made me some money because there's connections I wouldn't have gotten if I had a green bubble.
Now, they say now Google trying to come up with their message and stuff too. They're really trying to push RCS, the same as Apple.
Yeah, and and I was liking it. I was loving it. But then I got a hold of iMessage, and I'm like, yeah, they got a little way to go.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they do. I just like how everything is intertwined together. So if I recommend a phone to anybody, like if you don't want to go through no customization stuff, I always say get an iPhone. iPhone is way more secure when it comes to Android.
Right.
Now with the new Android, 14 is coming out. Yeah, now they're starting to focus on security and stuff.
Okay.
And they're starting to lock stuff down the same way that Apple did, because Apple was putting a hard emphasis on, we didn't want, because I want to talk to you about that, how you felt about that, like cross-platform, like sharing information and stuff. And a lot of these apps, I didn't know even use that. Like I use a meditation app or affirmation app. It's called I Am. So it sends you affirmations to say, like, you can set it to send you an affirmation every 20 minutes or every 30 minutes, every hour. But when I open it up after Apple pushed out a new update, it asked me, did I want to continue to allow this app to do cross-platform data scrub? And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, you pulling my information from other applications? I was like, only thing I got you for is just to get affirmations and stuff. And I pay for it too. It's not like a free app. I pay for this app.
Right.
So I'm like, I can see them doing it with like Facebook. Facebook is free. So Facebook made their money from advertisers. Okay, advertise me while I'm on Facebook. Don't look at what I'm doing on other platforms. Try to gear my advertisements on your platform based upon what I looked at other people's platform. But certain other apps, no. Like a affirmation app, no. If it's a video game, no. Why do you need my data? Hey. So like, yeah. So how you feel about security, especially when it comes to smartphones?
So that's the one thing. So this is a mixed bag for me, right? I love the fact that Apple is doing what they're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then also, I know some of the reasons why Apple, because some of it is advantageous to Apple, right? So
right.
That's the thing. But I do love the fact that they're doing what they're doing for the simple fact that your data should be dispersed by you.
Right.
But as I told you earlier, my whole mentality behind social media was for you to have full control.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So everyone has to understand Google created this monster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we give Google our everything.
Yep.
I gotta admit, I do. Google knows everything about me. You know.
Everybody.
Right. You know.
People don't know that. I tell people all the time about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. And the thing is they pull the wool over everybody's eyes because they took the long-term investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know you've probably got the messages late. I know you finally run out of photo storage, right?
No, I said no. I'm one of the originators, so no, I keep mine.
I'm one of the originators.
I got mine. Mine not going nowhere.
Look, I'm one of the I'm an originator too, but just like the last month or so, they're saying I'm running out of storage. It's not unlimited no more.
Oh yeah. I think. Did you have a Pixel? Did you have a Pixel?
No.
Yeah, see that's the issue. So yeah, Google did do people dirty. So I had a Pixel.
Right.
So I had a Pixel 3 XL. I have a Pixel 4a, and I had a Pixel 4 XL. So if you had the Pixel devices and you bought it in before they changed the clause up, you still got your unlimited storage space. As long as you still have those Pixel devices, and I still have a Pixel 4a, and I have a subscription to Google. So yeah, I don't lose mine.
I've been with Google since the invite system, right?
Yeah, they got you.
But they said no more. we've got how long has that been? That's been 2003.
Mm-hmm.
They got all my information since 2003 and saying, "Oh, time's up. Now you got to pay for it."
Mm-hmm.
That'll be $3. What, am I gonna say no?
No, because you want it.
Exactly.
And I tell people all the time about security. I'm like, so if you're an Android person, I say I need y'all to understand Google never deletes your data. And this is not me saying this. The CEO of the company before the new CEO actually said that they never destroy your data. It's stored on server farms. So everything that you send through the messaging apps, everything that you do through Android is stored in Google's servers. So if you're worried about privacy and stuff, I was like, you've already given your privacy away. They're looking at you walking around your house. So it's like you just might as well accept it.
Exactly. So I love what Apple is doing with data, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's hypocritical to think that Apple is saving you.
Yeah.
Because we're going to take that same iPhone. This is the thing. We're going to take that same iPhone, right? And go into our quote unquote smart home, right? And connect it to that network, which really just renders the iPhone useless.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know what? It'd be different if it was like connected to Apple's this, Apple's that, Apple's this. But let's recognize this. Most of the people out there are taking that iPhone, connecting it to Amazon.
Yeah.
They're connecting it to the Google Hub.
Yep.
They're connecting it to Samsung smart home. They're, you get what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah.
it's almost like the funny thing when my parents used to say before they got finished fighting the digital, world, they would say, "Oh, you ain't gonna get me using no automated bank app. I'll go write me a check and take it to the bank." Mom, as soon as you slid that credit card at the store, you just did what you said you weren't gonna do.
Right.
So it's the same thing. Apple is showing good gesture,
Mm-hmm.
but as soon as that device connects to anything else in the home and you tell that device to do something within that home, guess what?
It's got your data.
Again.
Yeah. Because I got Nest in my house. So even if I didn't have an Android device, I still got Android because it's Nest servers and it's stored in their cloud storage, which means Google still got it.
There you go. There you go. So it's one of those things that I'm like, look, I don't do nothing illegal.
Right.
I
Same.
try not to do nothing stupid.
Right. Because people tell me all the time, oh, you got cameras and stuff in your house. Like, what if somebody hack your cameras? I was like, what you want to see me go grocery shopping and cut my grass? I'm like, you want to see me walk around my house naked? I'm like, have at it. If you want to hack my network to do all that, have at it. Exactly. Oh, you want to steal my information? Oh, it's already out there. I'm like, you don't know about the Equifax hack that took place, that data breach. And I'm like, that wasn't just any of your information. That was all of your information from your house, your mortgage, your social security numbers, everything and anything about you was leaked out in that data breach. And so look, I'm like,
at that time, my credit was struggling. So I was like, man, what they going to do? Fix my credit?
Right. That's why I laugh at people when they start talking about security, because I'm like, bro, I work in security. I was like, they already got your information. If you worried about you taking some pictures and putting it on Facebook, oh well, the Russians? They're gonna use your information and use it against you and make. Bro, I'm like, they already got your stuff. I was like, your stuff already exists on the dark. We've had so many data breaches from big time companies. Your stuff already exists on the dark web. It's already out there. So I'm like, what are you worried about?
Hey, I tell people, like this: I'm a buyer of your data.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for your business. Yeah.
I'm buying your data every day for the simple fact that I'm in the POS system, and you know what they told me? They said, hey, when your user slides their credit card, we can tell you what they like. We can tell you when their birthday is. We can tell you what days they shop on. I just bought your data.
If you're affiliated with any political party, your data exists out there.
There you go.
You want to know how I know that? When people go out and do canvassing, start volunteering. When you go out and do canvassing, you use a minivan app and other apps. It lets you know who's a Democrat, who's a Republican, what the person's name is, your phone number, and your address. Your data is out there.
Yeah. Now, and now if I can just get those car warranty people to get the proper data.
Oh God. And the student I'm getting the student loans one now too. I was like, oh my God. Ooh.
I'm like, all the data out there, you can't get the right stuff. Come on, please.
That kills me. Or the phone numbers. So it's like, even when people change phone numbers out, how do you still call the same phone number looking for a wrong person? All this stuff is updated. Like once I make a purchase and you register my phone line and it registers across the switch, you know exactly who owns this phone number now. Why are you still calling about Tamara or Tom or whoever? Right. And you know you ain't getting them.
Yeah, I told one guy, because this is the craziest thing. I happened to be at my mother's-in-law house, and the phone rang and they were asking for me. Now we haven't lived with my mother-in-law since 2005, right? And they were asking, she's like, you're looking for who? And so she goes, is somebody looking for you? And I'm hello, yes, LeBarron Burton, such and such, such and such. Yeah, we were just calling you. I'm like, look, let me tell you something. Tell whoever your manager or owner is that they bought the wrong package of data. Because everything is outdated. I'm not even that same person anymore. I don't even like the same stuff anymore. Have a nice day. Click. Because
Yeah.
it's like, if you're calling this number, Lord have mercy, I don't even know where you guys got this contact information from.
Right.
So
So you excited about any new tech coming out this year? I think I asked Jay about that too.
man, this year,
Yeah.
excited. I think we have to define excited, because
What would you like to see come out this year then?
what would I like to see? A third operating system for the mobile operating
Oh
system.
yeah, you know they ain't well. Yeah, only way it's you're gonna have a magic wand for that one.
Right,
Or
right.
some Dragon Balls.
Yeah, that's but I guess I want to see what this new but this new Galaxy Fold does, simply because they're saying that it's going to have an S Pen.
Yeah. Oh, there was one. Is that the same one they're talking about where they've figured out a way to cut out the crease?
I heard that, yeah, but I'll believe that one when I see it.
Yeah, because I saw somebody did an article on that, and I was like, "How the hell did you cut the crease out?" I will give Samsung that. Nah, you talking about innovations? Samsung is on the forefront of doing something. I mean, hell, Apple used their doggone displays, doing something new. Because I was like, you gonna cut the crease out of the Galaxy Fold? Because that's always been my issue. Because what I want to see is a tablet or a foldable thing similar to the tablet they had in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I don't know if you ever saw that.
No, I didn't.
And he has a folding book, and in his book, it's like a tab. He opened it up, it's a tablet, and it gives him all the information of all the different planets and solar systems and what the civilization is like. Okay. So it is like a tablet, a smart PC, but it reads it out to you, but it folds up into like a book, and it's real thin. I'm like, that's what I want to see, and I'm excited for when they start doing the folding technology. Because when they first came out with it, and they was talking about doing the watches that wrapped around your whole hand and stuff, I was like, okay, now we're headed towards the future. Because to me, smartphones can't get any more innovative.
No,
I mean,
I don't think they're going to get any. I think there's going to be emergence between the smartphone and the actual laptop. I think at some point the smartphone / tablet are going to become one, right? I think that's where we're going, and I think Samsung is on the forefront of that.
Well, now that I think about that, I think Apple can do it too. Because see, Apple can
do it, but Apple's not going to do it until they can make money off of it.
Right. Because they will lose. Because I reached out to them about the new M1 chips they put inside the iPad Pros. Now, I reached out to the marketing department because I'm like, my kid is going to school for graphic designs. And I'm saying, okay, well, when they made the announcement, okay, you putting M1 chips in the iPad Pros. All right, cool. So can we get full, like you and I talked about, full desktop applications on those tablets? No, it's still iPad OS. And I get it, because you said it, because if they did that, even MKBHD, when he talked about it too, that mean they will lose sales from your MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs and everything else, because why buy a laptop when I can get all this stuff from a tablet?
And see, once again, I think Steve Jobs would have killed off a device just to make one device reign supreme. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Tim Cook is about diversifying his portfolio for profit.
Yeah, because if it's got the same chip and it's got the same amount of memory in there, then why couldn't you do it like you would do a Samsung DeX and plug it into a monitor and have Mac OS 10 on it?
Well, can someone explain to me the difference between the M1 iPad and the M1 MacBook Air other than hardware?
No, it was the same thing. Nope.
Nothing but the same thing.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So you're keeping two different OSs so that you can keep two different revenue streams. That's it. That's all.
Because I mean, it's overkill when it comes to performance, and like you were saying before about people not really using their devices to their full extent. who's using a tablet to its full extent now to where it's tapping it out. And then now, because they put an M1 processor in it, it's going to help you in your workflow even better.
Yeah.
Because it can't run full-fledged desktop operations. So the app just put on there was made for, what is it, A12 they had in there before? Mm-hmm. And so now you put an M1 chip in there. I'm like, man, it's overkill. It's like, who really going to use it?
The play that Apple is making. The play that Apple is making is that there is no more money for them to be made off hardware, right? So they have to make the profits. The play is going to be made when Apple creates a Final Cut Pro app that runs on the iPad the same way as it runs on the desktop.
That would be hot. They would get my money then.
That's where they're going with it.
They would get my money.
Because they would make more money off a software subscription than you do hardware all day. Mm-hmm. Think about it, right?
Yeah.
So that's where they're going to make their money. That's what this play is for. Because you can't make more money off of hardware anymore.
No. And a lot of people can't even afford your hardware because it's too expensive. They go back to the whole cost of smartphones. And it's like the cheapest thing you have now is the M1, the Mac Minis. Mm-hmm. But even those cost at base, $749, unless you got a device to trade in. Exactly. But still, base is $749. So that's your entry level into the Mac universe, unless you get a tablet, and the tablet still is expensive. Exactly. I don't care if you say $800, $900 not expensive. $800 is still expensive. It's expensive.
And if you want the keyboard experience, it's another $300.
Yep.
So yep. You're at a $1,300 laptop when you get, and that's pretty much. So that's what their play is. That's essentially what their play is. Business-wise, they can't tell me anything otherwise, because they're so desperate for profits that whole we're going to remove the.
Oh God, I know you're going to say the power adapter. I know you're going to say. We're trying to save the environment.
Look, this is a funny thing, okay? Because my mother switched over to the iPhone too. Mm-hmm. Right? And everybody around me switched over, because the reason I ended up switching to the iPhone was because the fact that Samsung didn't stand well during the George Floyd event. So I just decided that, okay, even if they did it for good PR, Apple was the first ones to stand out there, and they're the major competition to Samsung. So that's why I switched my alliances. I was a hardcore, still am. I still say the Note is the greatest device out there, right? So that's why I switched. So now that I switched, my mother's like, well, if you switch, I'm switching, because, so she got this iPhone, and she called me up. She goes, I can't charge this. It's like, what do you mean?
Oh, shit. I don't have a charging bar.
She goes, it's only halfway full. I need, you got to buy one. Why? I said, well, they say it's because they were saving the what do you call it?
The environment, yeah.
The environment. And she goes, and this is my mother. My mother is 60-something years old. She's like, that don't make any sense. She goes, because I have a charging block here that I can't use with the cable they gave to me because it's USB-C. Mm-hmm. And the, USB-A, but the cable they gave me is USB-C.
USB-C.
So I have to go out and buy that very same charging block anyway. How are they saving the environment? I got to throw one away to use the one. I said, yeah, I know that. You know that, but it sounded good coming out, I guess.
Hey, man, I like South America's approach. Like, Brazil gave them the hammer fist. It was like, if you're going to release a device down here, you're going to put a charging block into that device. And they lost it in court. It was like, you ain't getting no money down here unless you put a charging block, which kind of made me mad, because I think India did it too. I'm like, so the other countries you're going to do it for, but you're going to, us stupid Americans, you're going to be like, no, we trying to help y'all out. We trying to be green over here.
Yeah, no, that was really bogus. It was really bogus. It was a bogus move. I don't care how no one else puts it. It was bogus. Very, very bogus.
You can't, unless you was already part of the Apple ecosystem, and I mean, like, you have up-to-date devices, You ain't got that charging block. You got to go out there and buy. You got to pay that $20-something, $30, and go and buy that block to charge up your device.
Exactly. Exactly. Because if they were truly going to do that, they would have just left it USB A to Lightning cable. No, you're USB C to Lightning cable, and you know most of the people that have your previous generations, okay, because they say that the average Apple user doesn't switch for 2 to 3 years.
Right.
They know these numbers. So they sold a whole bunch of blocks.
Yep. To get that money.
And how much does a block really cost? $60?
No. And my thing is, how much money do you need? Because they're already in the black. Like, they're already in the black. They got more money than they're up there with Amazon now, one of the richest companies in the world. So it's like, you're in the black. You already got cash on deck. How much more do you need?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's and people don't realize, they don't look at it, because I guarantee you that block probably cost them what, $3?
Yep.
If I give them $5, even if I'm being nice enough and saying $10, that block
still stretching
$60.
Yep. And you got low end devices now, Android devices that still come with the block, the block in the box.
Exactly. Yeah.
So where do you see yourself moving forward with tech wise, especially with to push your business?
Well, I just bought a commercial computer this week. So
like a desktop computer?
No, not computer, printer.
Oh, okay.
Just bought a commercial printer. Yeah.
Oh, you paid some money for that.
Well, I got it on a deal. It was regularly like $20,000, but my printer sold me his because he updated. He needed one with 4 colors instead of 3, right? So I was like, hey, it's the same printer that's been printing all my equipment anyway. So I don't know what just happened there. It's the same equipment that's been printing all my material anyway, so I bought it from him for like $7,000, right? So now I can print everything.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, those are nice. I've been looking at those, the laser printers too. Not with the one that actually, like, what is it, like stitches into your devices and stuff, and you can like actually print on leather. Those are nice, but those are expensive as hell. Yeah. So even for my own personal brand, I was like, oh, okay, that would be good to like make product and stuff, and like, you know, make my own content for my own store, as opposed to kind of pushing out to another third party person.
Right. Yeah. That is the latest piece of tech that I bought. I got my setup here that obviously just went awry because it looks like my
your webcam
kicked me out. But this is what I build the advertisement for the business off of, doing the live streams and things like that. So, you know, I bought, I do everything from the perspective, if it don't make money, it don't make sense.
Right.
Right. So I don't go into a FOMO style of doing things, you know. A lot of people get that fear of missing out, and I'm not that person, you know. So like even now, I was shooting before this thing shut down. I was shooting with a M50, you know, with a Sigma lens. I got the Ring Cam here. I got a little Monocaster, what do you call it? Podcast board that I'm hooked up to, and I got a Microsoft Surface, you know. So I'm probably like I am the enemy to most Apple fans, because you know, if you notice, I've only named one Apple device, and that was my phone.
Yeah, I mean, I have them, but I use them for on the go. Like so you know, like I have dual phones. I have an iPhone for my personal stuff, and I have an Android phone for my business / personal stuff too, because I kind of mix both of them, because Apple don't like, nowadays, for whatever reason, don't like sending files and pictures and stuff to Android devices. So I like to have one as a secondary device. Now, my go-to stuff for everything I'm working on, like I'm working on right now, and what I'm like talking to you from, yeah, I got a gaming PC that I built myself, and I have my Sony a6400, like you, the Sigma lens, because we got to have a Sigma lens, and that's what I'm using to work from. My MacBook, It's only when I'm on the go. My iPad, when I'm trying to work on something, sit on the couch, and I don't feel like grabbing my laptop. But
Right.
but I do have a strong Apple ecosystem here too. The Apple TV, Apple Watch, and everything.
Oh, I do have an
Because,
Apple Watch. I do.
but
I do own an
now
Apple Watch.
they say they're coming out with new Wear OS. That was part of Google I/O.
Mm-hmm.
So they're fixing Wear OS, and it's supposed to be coming out soon. So we'll see how they do with that.
Right. Someone told me about that, and they told me. So I'm gonna change what I said earlier because now I'm at a position where I may utilize two different. I said I would never carry two phones.
Come on, man. You gotta come to a 2-phone life, man.
It looks like that's what I'm about to do. So I may get a Pixel. The new Pixel I probably will
The
get.
Pixel 6, yeah.
Yeah, so I may do that, but yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
never
wait.
thought I would do it. Huh?
Normally I would, but I already got a Samsung, and I'm like, I like how Samsung is, like I said, integrated with Windows.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to see it though. I do want to see
You know
it.
what? I'm just gonna do it just to have something new, just to fidget with. It's the best looking device that I've seen so far from Google. And I'm not ready to go back to Samsung yet. I'm dealing with somebody on the inside that are telling me of some stuff that they've been doing for the urban community and things like that.
Yeah.
But I just, like I said, that didn't settle with me well. So it was like I had to put my money somewhere else. And in the Android space, outside of Samsung, it wasn't really anybody I was interested in. They had already pulled down Huawei.
Yeah.
But that new Pixel has my interest.
It's so I like Google. I mean, outside of Google being who was it off of Terminator? Outside of Google, Skynet. Outside of Google being Skynet, I still like Google. Yeah. And they have this new software they're working on. I don't know why they didn't work on it initially. Project Starline. Mm-hmm. And that's to help out with the AI systems and the cameras when they're taking pictures of minorities, so we can get better skin texture and color, as opposed to us looking washed out in certain pictures. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, at least they're thinking about everybody.
Right.
Now, they should have been doing it early on, especially the CEO being Indian. They should have been doing it early on. But, like you said, at least they're doing something now to make a difference in their technology and stuff.
That brings me to a question, because when you call them Skynet, did you realize, a lot of people don't realize this, but Google used to have in their their mission statement, do no evil.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They pulled that out about 4 or 5 years ago.
And if y'all don't know, Google owns almost all the robotics companies that's out there. Google actually has a contract with the military to work on that, with NASA to work on the AI up in space on the satellites, like literally AI, not the AI you have in your smartphones, actual AI. Google has a big quantum computer they're building out. Well, they already have it built, but they're working on the testing and trying to learn how to use applications with that. Yeah. Google has their hands in everything. These robotic dogs you're seeing around here, Google is a parent company of those companies. Yeah. they own them.
Boston, because they did buy Boston.
They sure did.
Yeah.
They sure did. Google is going to be Skynet.
Yeah.
They're going to be Skynet.
Yeah. And I think that's what Elon Musk, when he said, well, there's one company that you need to fear,
Yeah.
You know who he was talking about.
And he's actually advocating for that. Like he went to Congress and was speaking on the floor about them making regulations and policy towards AI, like right now.
And he's friends with the with the CEO.
Yes.
He slept on his couch when he went bankrupt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think AI should be regulated. I like AI. I like the idea of coming home and my home talking to me when I come home. But I mean, like everything, we need some regulation behind it.
Yeah, I agree. Because that I don't know if that really resonates with people, how scary that is, that your phone can call a restaurant and set up your appointment, your dinner appointment, and everything, and sound like a human being.
Yep.
Think about that.
Yep.
Think
And I
that,
think that's cool. I
huh?
think it's really. I say I think that's really cool too.
I mean, it's cool. It is cool as I don't know
But
what, but man, there's a whole bunch of sci-fi movies I could think of.
mm-hmm.
You know, like right now, our voice waves are going over the internet, can be duplicated.
Yeah. But
You know,
see, that's another thing they're working on too, which you got to watch the just the highlights of the Google I/O. So they're working on a new language thing called Lambda, a voice language modeling thing platform built inside of their AI to give you like real conversation, not the robotic stuff you hear, but give you real conversation. So when you ask, like they did an example by asking about Pluto, you ask it about Pluto, and then Pluto, they'll give you the information about Pluto and say, well, you want to learn anything else about it? What do you want to know about it? Like you actually have a fluid conversation, and it's called Project Lambda. And I'm
yeah,
like, that's cool, but like you just said,
that's what I'm saying. It's
what
like,
happens when the wrong people start getting that the coding behind that?
and that's what I'm talking about because it's like when they did that demonstration, I'm like, that thing didn't sound like a robot.
Mm-mm.
You know, so
Yeah, it was a real
just think
person.
when, yeah, just think when they start duplicating, you know, like what they say, deep fake voices.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody says, "Well, you just called me earlier today. I didn't call you. What do you mean?"
Right. Right. And now they have, I forget that software where it can actually take a screen grab of your face and build it over the top of and make an actual electronic version of it to look just like you.
Exactly.
So now you take that Project Lambda and the other software application and mix it in with that fake image of you. It looked just like you. And it sounds just like you.
Yeah, yeah. Woo. Yeah. I'm just like I'm happy. I'm 46. So when a lot of the it's like might not be here when it gets real deep in the thick, but
Yeah, we'd be gone.
you know, I'm like, man, I'm kind of glad because it's one of those things. Like, wow, you gotta depend on humanity to manage this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing such a good job right now.
Mm-mm. All right, man. So as we wrap it up, let's talk about your business. Like, where do you see your business going in the near future? And what are some of the, like you say you have multiple business, like what's one of the other biggest business you're pushing for that you want to bring out to the public?
So my $1 billion baby that I'm working on in the back end is a project called School Biz, where
Mm-hmm.
I've got two programmers in Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got a UI guy out of Pakistan, and then I got a team of people here in the U.S. And what we're doing is we're building a fundraising solution for nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
It's geared to school systems because that's like the current need. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, what we do is we're taking something as simple as a set of AirPod Pros, $250, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we place that as the opportunity for a lowest unique bid auction. So it's pretty much kind of like a blind bid, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the lowest unique bid. So you take a pair of AirPod Pros, you you can bid the minimum of 1 penny, the maximum of $15, right?
Mm-hmm.
That auction is a 250 bid auction. So that auction closes after 250 bids have been placed.
Okay.
All right. Um, and what happens is, say you go in and you place a bid for say 20 cents.
Uh-huh.
The site will let you know, hey, this is the lowest unique bid, but this is the lowest bid, but it's not a unique bid, or you know, it gives you the feedback of where you are in the bidding process, and it'll
Mm-hmm.
tell you you are 20% away or X amount of percentage away from the lowest unique bid. You
Okay.
can in turn place another bid, right?
Mm-hmm.
It costs you $10 per bid that you place. So say that you went in there and you placed 3 bids, and all of a sudden the auction closes an hour later. 250 bids have been placed. The auction closes, and you find out that you were the lowest unique bid.
Mm-hmm.
We would then send you a pair of AirPod Pros for the $30 that you spent.
Oh, wow.
Right. That auction brought in $2,500.
Wow. Yeah.
The school or the not-for-profit would get, if they close the auction within 24 hours, they get 50% of the proceeds.
Mm-hmm.
Anything more than 24 hours, they give 40%. Now, this is a catch-22, is that just say you didn't want the AirPod Pros, you were just doing it to support your child. You already got
Mm-hmm.
AirPod Pros, don't need another pair, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can sell those AirPod Pros back to the auction for whatever price you want. So you might say, you know what, I'll sell these for $100, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that placed a bid in that auction would get a notification saying that Antonio Hicks is selling his AirPod Pros for $100. I might need a pair, and I say, well, man, here's $100, right?
Mm-hmm.
I buy now. I get the AirPod Pros sent to me. You never had to touch them, and you get $100 towards your account.
Oh, so it's almost like you integrated drop shipping into that too.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go back and like, man, I made $100. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I made $70 because it cost me $30. I made
Right.
$70. You're gonna at least put 20 or 30 more bucks into another auction.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. And the second wave of what we're doing is we're implementing a couponing system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and basically, what'll happen is everyone that places a bid will get back. I don't have it on me. I have it in the vehicle. They sell coupon books for AAU basketball, Pee Wee football, Little League,
Yeah, and
and it's
Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
and you can buy for $5. You can get $60 worth of discounts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is work on corporate entities and say, hey, give us exclusive discounts, and I'm talking about even Procter and Gamble.
Mm-hmm.
Give us exclusive discounts so whenever someone places a purchase, they'll get an exclusive coupon from Procter and Gamble, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now what'll happen is people will pay $10 for a bid. No one loses for the simple fact that they get $100 or a couple $100 in coupon, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, that's more functional as opposed to I get $2 off at Krispy Kreme or someplace.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
You gearing
exactly.
it towards what adults would use it for as opposed to just low items like a $5 coupon at not even $5, $2 coupon at doggone Burger King or someplace.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah, that's good too.
you'll get everything from your free Whopper to because my wife is into couponing,
Mm-hmm.
and man, that's a real thing. Like that's a real,
Yes, it is.
like
Yes, it is.
my wife would buy off of eBay $8. She'll pay $8 for a coupon book. I'm like, why are you paying $8 for a coupon book? And then you go in our basement, it looks like Walgreens. And it's like, when everybody was worrying about toilet paper going out,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I got a surplus over here.
Oh, you should have been selling that on eBay.
Right.
Making some money off of it.
I mean, because it's like she gets them for a little bit of nothing from her coupon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, this is a real thing. So that's one of the things that we're incorporating with it.
Okay.
So it's one of those things that I had to, by being on a board of a lot of not-for-profits,
Mm-hmm.
get tired of talking. Well, you should know this about even with politics. You can't get to solving a solution or solving a problem because everybody's talking about money.
Yep.
So that was one of my things is I got to eliminate the whole money conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So with this, you don't have to worry about parent participation. You don't have to worry about anyone collecting money. One of the things that I realize about people, we are inherently lazy.
Yep.
Not in a bad sense, in the sense that we are overworked most of the time. So if something can relieve us of doing things, if you can solve that, then you created a customer.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Google.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, especially making reservations. Man, I don't feel like making that phone call. Let me tell the device to make the phone call for me.
Exactly. So that's my $1 billion baby. Now with the popcorn shop, some of the things that I'm looking to do, I'm talking to farmers right now. I'm looking to get our own seed, our own kernel,
Mm-hmm.
adding some verticals. to the business model, because we're at a point right now where we're growing,
Mm-hmm.
but now I have to add profit, right? So,
Right.
and the way that you add profit is to add other verticals, to the company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, being there's only so many suppliers in the popcorn business,
Mm-hmm.
so they control the pricing. Like just instantly, just recently I found out that my oil cost went from $18 for a 35 pound bucket to almost $60. Yeah.
What the
So,
hell? What caused a spike in that?
well, it's supply chain, because they know there's only so many people that offer it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with the fact of the pandemic, we're starting to feel the effects of the pandemic. So it's a supply and demand thing. I got the supply, you got the demand. I can control the price.
Right. Okay.
So as a business owner, I took this from Samsung, right? For
Mm-hmm.
every iPhone out there sold, there's a Samsung screen in there.
Yep.
So who's really winning at the end of the day?
Samsung.
Exactly. So if I sell the kernel, I can sell to anyone that wants to compete with me,
Mm-hmm.
and can care less how much they compete with me. Because for every bag of popcorn they sell, I make money.
Yep.
So that's where I'm going with it. And then to do it for the culture, right? I
Mm-hmm.
have the ability now to employ black farmers, which there are grant funds and things like that to get
Yeah.
into that. So it's an opportunity to add a bunch of verticals to the business, because like this is the year that I say as a business person that I got to start showing profit. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so those are some of the things that I'm doing now. So like when you search Popcorn World now, you probably see a lot of links and things about Popcorn World, different people shouting it out.
Yeah.
That was all staged to create the brand. Now that I've got that brand recognition out there, now it's time to make things profitable.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well, you
that's
have my support.
thank you, thank you,
You
thank
got
you,
my support. I definitely shout you out. I mean, I put you as an ad on one on the show too.
thank you. I appreciate it. Definitely.
So, how can people get in touch with you? Find out if they want to get some popcorn from you. How can they get some popcorn from you?
We're on all social media. We're
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook as Popcorn World. We're on Instagram as Popcorn World and Doing the World of Flavor. It's a long story how I ended up with two Instagram accounts, but uh, we have two Instagram accounts, and we're on Twitter as Popcorn World. Now,
Okay.
if they're trying to reach LeBarron Burton, I'm on IG. I'm LeBarron Burton Sr. on everything: IG, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yeah, we see the son got him an account too.
Oh yeah,
I was like the second. I was like, oh no, that's the oldest. So now, the one thing I ask my guests when they come on, same thing I asked Jay. So the world we feel though with so much anger, so much animosity, is so much tension and stuff on social media, and it's what you feel that you pumped in your head. I ask everybody to leave with a positive thought, like bless over the world and the community with a positive thought.
well, I am a glass half full person.
Mm-hmm.
So in a world where you have a lot of problems, you've got a lot of solutions. So that's how I've gotten to the point where we're at now. I don't see problems, I see solutions. You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
if you can see a problem, you're halfway of where you need to be to gain a solution. Is when you don't know the problems, when you have major issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell people like this: hey, okay, we're halfway there. Whenever someone says, well, we got this, this, and this, good, we're halfway there. Now,
Right.
let's go ahead and solve the issue, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
always tell people, and this is what I leave with people now, in a world that we got this, we got this, we got this, you're halfway there,
Yeah.
you know?
That's the first of any problems, identifying that there is a problem and what their problem is.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what keeps me motivated going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm telling, I tell everyone, hey, You know, you are a solution to somebody's problem. You
Yeah,
know, somebody's having a bad day, a smile is a solution.
you're
Trust
right
me.
about that.
I tell my employees all the time, a customer can come in frowning or whatever. I guarantee you, if you smile and you treat them well enough, they'll be smiling by the time they leave.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that is the main point that I would drive is, hey, number one, you're the solution to somebody's problem, and in any problem that you may have, you're halfway to the solution.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you again for coming on, brother. You know I'm gonna have you for an invite again because we're gonna do
Oh,
a panel with with Jay for some tech talking stuff too.
that'd be great. Me and Jay go at it.
Yeah, that's what he told me. He was like, "Yo, we need people that don't have that. You know, we don't necessarily agree on everything, but we still can agree on certain things to have a
Right,
conversation about technology and stuff."
right.
So I am Antonio Hicks, aka Mr. Escaping the Matrix. Like I always say, take your 3 L's daily: live, love, laugh. And to go with what LeBarron is saying, Mr. LB, yeah, if you the first step to any problem is identifying that there is a problem. And if you can recognize what their problem is, then you can finally recognize the steps it takes to complete that problem and get over that hurdle. Because sure enough, once you jump that hurdle, is going to be another one in front of you. And you know, problem is a good thing because I mean, if you have a problem, it means you have something you have to learn in life to perfect yourself from and make you better. Because nobody's perfect. We're all striving to be our best selves. And the best way to identify our best selves and identify some of the faults we have and acknowledge them.
Exactly.
So continue pushing on, continue striving. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you again, LB, for being on the show. Love everybody out there for tuning in. Happy podcasting.